Iterative versus incremental application feature strategy presentation. This presentation is about Oliver's app. The project encompasses the development, deployment, and managing of Oliver's app, which is a really cool smartphone application that's made for smart, entertaining, and wholesome conversation. The project aims to create the app, refine it, and release it to the public. The primary project goal is to have 1,000 users and overwhelmingly positive reviews. Our vision is to help create good memories through the use of our app, as human connection is incredibly valuable. I think we can all agree. Specifically, this presentation outlines the proposal of a feature for Oliver's app, which involves using a SaaS, or software as a service product, that would track user events and help us gain insight about user analytics. Specifically, when users are using the app, we want to know how they're using the app so we can better build it and make sure that everybody's happy. We have yet to pinpoint which SaaS vendor we're going to utilize, so this outline mainly pertains to how we intend to implement the software into our application, as opposed to discussing the nuances that come with the specific SaaS program. We haven't gotten there yet. We'll start with the iterative implementation process. And were we to go with the iterative approach, we would do so by first defining the scope for what we want to get out of the SaaS in the beginning phase, as well as in subsequent phases. From there, we would define the enhancements we want to utilize from the SaaS, as it provides a timeline for when we want to have relevant milestones achieved. We'd use this data to break down the SaaS implementation into tasks that can be performed iteratively. The first iteration would involve tracking some of what we would consider to be key events, or that is moments where users use our app that contain the most valuable insights to us as a team. For example, we would track the length of time a user spent on our app in the first iteration, and in the next we would implement SaaS features, which would help us learn which features of the app users interacted with the most. And in following iterations, we might look more into user location and things like that. Were we to take the incremental approach to things, we would first lay out what we want to get out of the SaaS. Then we would break down the work it would take to fully utilize the SaaS for our app into milestones. We would take those milestones and break down each one into our tasks, and then define the scale of difficulty for each one and the overall value we would gain from completing each task. Once we established a scale of difficulty and weight for each task, we would create a timeline for completing the full utilization of the SaaS for our means. Our first increment would involve breaking down insights gained from tracking user events into categories and defining the most valuable user insights from the less valuable but still important insights. Once we've completed that, we'd begin implementing the SaaS, starting with the most viable category and building it out from there, ensuring there is no loss in quality as the insights from the SaaS continue to build. From a project management standpoint, the incremental approach was tempting, but could pose a greater risk to project management, especially if the user tracking software takes longer than anticipated. It could also be found to generate information which really isn't useful, and we run the risk of wasting time and resources. So by choosing the iterative approach, we are able to test out the software without investing as many resources, and that's the route we've decided to go, is the iterative approach. We did find it worthwhile to go through the exercise of deciding one versus the other, and I think to some extent it's hard not to have it just be somewhat of a hybrid and kind of trickle into the other. But for the most part, we definitely feel like an iterative approach is the way to go, as the user tracking events are not a key feature. We want to keep our development process on track, but we also want to have tools that enable us to um, refine the actual quality of the app. So thanks for sticking with us.